The top 10 conscious uncouplings. 10. Andy Serkis's domestic/seeming misgivings are rerouted by a grimace or hand gesture into genuine unarmed resistance. When Draco Malfoy gets electrocuted, the only thing articulated is a negative, art, or any kind of speaking ape. 9. Voting no with your lips is never learned. The tongue curls involuntarily. Contempt is first a physical issue, then legal. In that schema, politeness is just another land grab, bargaining on the side of convention. Subtext, my father will hear about this. 8. What's drearier, getting into his music ironically, only to find your body responds to the astronaut leaps between snare beats, in a way best described for the sake of your dignity simply as emotional, or laughing at the throb coming from a parked car as the chorus thinks about suicide. 7. A man who remembers his arms. 6. Finally getting it down to 98 problems, or up to 100. 5. A petition with no signature. 4. An essay on rain. 3. Charlie Sheen from himself. Notice how 2 women are absolutely necessary. 2. When a killer whale soars to freedom or a chimp hefts a flint, it's time to put your hands behind your back and step away from the monolith. 1. People talk about yoga this way, and it must be great to imagine not thinking. The Greek waves lap in with no glittering armies, and there isn't even a picture, just a lovely clean scramble of static. Maybe a moment of passivity is needed, the empty mind in which an idea appears, probably much like a crush, if you ask them. Politics as a beach fantasy. Even so, I don't see how Gwyneth can be a punk.
The top 10 luminous mushrooms of Sardania forest. 10. Number 10. Pony browns, double trumped, are a tonic for shoulder trouble, for every insidious ailment of the upper back. Slice them where they flourish in the forest's outer verges. Sauté immediately on a skillet hot as you can make it. Add a fist of parsley, a few barbecued slivers of willow bark. Number 9. Avoid on pain of banishment candy kisses. Neither pluck them, nor inquire as to the ban on their disturbance. Feel at liberty, however, to relish the concert of their pinkish spines, the pastel antiseptic coral they form at the fundament of every sheltering alder. Number 8. Beware too of wren settles. For the merest tongueful of their chalky saltiness leads to blindness, insanity, forgetfulness, and death, in approximately that order. 7. Butterbuds, tender polyps, at their most delectable when eaten raw, their flaking flesh best served with red currant jam and drap, or another suitably yielding formaggio. 6. Finch whistles look proverbial with their white-pocked red berets, and are a happy mushroom, a party mushroom. 1 for a good time, 2 for a bender, 3 to re-experience your greatest sexual encounter, 4 and for a fortnight you'll dream only in magenta. 5. The mushrooms known as boar droppings found their poet in Salvador Esperu, who designated them magnificent and bobble-headed guardians of the forest's deeper zones. No stew, he declared, in all the annals of Catalonia had ever suffered by dint of their inclusion. Number 4. Mary shells are fragile, sub-aqua seeming flaps, and will soothe most minor complaints of women, cramps, sore feet, distemper, but must be digested unbeknownst to her. 3. Black shamrock is favoured by a younger, more aggressive crowd. With their mohawks, faux hawks, rags, and nipple rings, they gather in the West Forest clearings. They smoke it and are transported to where the sweet wood burns at twilight, where the men come first in masked single file, while the ugliest marukas of the village bring the tinder, where the girl child closest to 15 in age gives the first spark to the buyer. 2. Almond-headed pig pies, so unlikely a confection, so vanishingly improbable as to render further counsel academic. 1. A scattered shoal, luminous, ridiculous, activating, deactivating, and what you know is more than happenstance. Sea sprigs invite you through briars and soil breath toward the forest dimming and innermost precincts, switching on and off like fireflies, like Christmas lights, down their curved and convoluted paths at evening.
The top 10 unknown unknowns. 10. You got married, I guess. You walked into a cornfield and started singing, I guess. You found a credit card somewhere in between now and then, I guess, and started spending, I guess, and got caught, I guess, by the police, I guess. And never managed to convince them of your innocence, I guess. And that pretty much brings us up to speed, I guess.
9. No event horizon denser or more impenetrable in the tides of human conduct than that occasion when a language perishes. For each tongue's passing can be properly recorded only in that very tongue's quirks and paraphernalia. Those of us gathered on the veil's far side then are faced with a phenomenon literally unspeakable, an omnivorous singularity from which no code or signal can expect safe passage. Just ask that dun-shawled, whiskered woman hauling her catch of livid seaweed over basalt. Ask her.
8. A beam of light penetrates a wave. Ryan Gosling repeatedly interrupts filming by making eye contact with the camera. Your dreams are so mainstream. There are so many images waiting to mean something, like souls queued at the wrong vagina.
7. Having tragically lost your ability to experience deja vu, Reno, tequila, mechanical bull, and being afterward condemned in the truest sense to live everything only once, you gradually came to find nourishment distasteful, deleted your profile, bonfired your underwear and records, shunned liquor, beer, then liquid in general to every feasible extent. Now, having consigned yourself to your late father's garage, you spend hour after hour just breathing, training all your attention on a few carefully selected curios and oddments, 2 aquamarine cogs, a rusted Stanley blade, a red poker chip, an old bust buckaroo.
6. No one was prepared to be gregarious and legendary, and you were training yourself to handwrite in Times New Roman, reading the biographies with a huge bowl of salad, always the biogs. Those pictures darken with age, so the pictures inside them are lost. A pen survives inside the cloud library, and a note, a list that is somehow still useful.
5. Like when the light hesitates over a cornfield, or above a rust-coloured field of barley, on or around the 16th of August 2001, and becomes reluctant, folded over, self-illuminating, as if neither source nor destination really mattered anymore. Or like when Anna Paquin, on the set of Darkness in Barcelona that same year, for a moment forgot not only her lines, her character's motivation, the presence of the camera and the project's working title, but also her own given name, those of her parents, and that of the modestly sized central Canadian city in which she had been raised.
4. It's easy to feel hopeful on a beautiful day like today. A woman in a white dress pours juice into a glass while a man smiles. He takes the juice when it is offered to him and makes weaving motions with his free hand. There are tough pink roses all around.
3. The pictures brighten with age until it's agony to look at them. How can I study your keeled sweater now? Your high, haughty jeans, your faraway amused expression.
2. It feels closer and further away when imagining a composition with slacks and paintings, 2014, in which we discover the interpretive strategy of knowing absolutely nothing was far more widespread than we ever imagined. And there was a saxophone there, nagging, a mute girl's opinion still matters maybe. And the days of the week were a cover-up for something newer or older than anyone suspected. The days of the week were hiding in plain sight and scripted many of these moments. It was uncovered when the wintering palms on television made a private wind-blown noise not featured on the soundtrack. A mute girl's opinion still matters maybe, if she's Anna Paquin. Big if. But if gets closer and further away, like anything, a saxophone or the point of a conversation. The only point in a person going to galleries is to check out the ignorance.
1. Is this the appropriate cornfield or the wrong vagina? Brain and I brain, Winnimishkid and Scommel. There's a photo of a white crinoline dress in the Cloud Library. Líon sé na Skihán Lia Arundalav. It's waiting to mean something. Ní cuimhne no Skihán, no Iavá, no Tada. It feels closer and further away.